to create the world's first truly global empire. And it's basically a secret empire. We do it many ways, but principally we identify a country that has resources our corporations covet, like oil, arrange a huge loan to that country from the World Bank or one of its sisters. The money never actually goes to the country. It goes to our own corporations to build the infrastructure projects in that country that help a few very wealthy people, but don't benefit the majority of the people who are too poor to buy electricity or have cars to drive on the highways, and yet they're left holding a huge debt that they can't repay. So we go back at some point and say, you can't pay your debts. Give us a pound of flesh. Sell your oil real cheap to our oil companies. Vote with us on the next critical UN vote. Allow us to build a military base in your backyard. Something along these lines. And when we fail, the jackals go in and either overthrow or assassinate these leaders. And if the jackals fail, as they did in Iraq, then we send in the military. I don't think the failure is capitalism. I think it's a specific kind of capitalism that we've developed. We've created what I consider a mutant viral form of capitalism. And this mutant form of capitalism, which I think is really a predatory form of capitalism, has created an extremely unstable, unsustainable, unjust, and very, very dangerous world. I've met a lot of terrorists. I've interviewed them for books. I've never met one who wanted to be a terrorist. They're desperate people. If we want to get rid of terrorism, we must get rid of the root causes, that cancer that is destroying our whole system. Because I think it's really important that we understand today, we cannot have homeland security unless we understand that the whole planet is our homeland.
Those who are running the world through the control of finance have a major incentive to incite war, because more important than the money that they control is the most important parameter of a tyrannical system, a tiny minority ruling over the masses. That principle is you will never be able to rule people if you cannot divide them. So you must divide them. What divides people more than anything else? War, mass murder, horrendous crimes, torture. Things like that are good in the view of a banker. Another place we can go to is Iran, which I'm heading back to again. There's 100,000 victims in Iran from the chemical weapons that Saddam Hussein used with the aid of the CIA. This is a matter of public record. Let us remember how he was our favorite little attack dog in the Middle East, and that we had to attack Iran for having the audacity of getting rid of our puppet, the Shah. And the Iranians, all too ironically, while being told, the whole West being told that these are the evil people who want to exterminate the Jews and all this kind of nonsense, the Iranians had an amazing debate within their nation back in the 80s when they were being attacked by weapons of mass destruction from Saddam Hussein and chemical weapons. And there was a debate about whether they should even attack Basra and Baghdad with weapons of mass destruction. And you know what their answer was? No, we can't, because we're a God-fearing nation and it would be immoral and God would not approve. So this is yet another example, 100,000 victims of chemical weapons in Iran. So yeah, America's moral authority hasn't existed for decades. And I have been shocked that even back in 2003 that people were talking about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Excuse me, the United States is the biggest producer, distributor, and user of weapons of mass destruction, and it's going to be the moral authority to talk about who can and can't have them? It was absurd then. It's even more absurd now. The United States never fights anybody who can fight back. We're cowards. We don't pick on people who can fight back. What I'm going to say now, I want to make clear, is motivated by a deep love of this beautiful planet and all humanity. And while many of my brothers and sisters in the human family are acting in a completely unacceptable way, what I'm saying is based on love. There is no grudge. I simply want what's best so that we can hand this world over in a better state than we have it now.
We will also destroy his chemical weapons facilities.
We exercised military power to defeat the aggression of Mr. Milosevic. We won the war.
the Gaddafi regime is coming to an end.
A short time ago, I ordered the United States Armed Forces to launch precision strikes on targets associated with the chemical weapons capabilities of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad. The United States has been at constant war with Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria and Yemen and many other countries. Almost constant war.
I want to start off by saying Brakateh Yahweh, Brakateh Yahweh.
If you go around the world,
Brakateh Yahweh, Brakateh Yahawashi. Call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi. Call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that told me this doctrine in truth and sincerity. Shalom to the elect. The Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, which means He is or He exists. By Hashem, in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. We know His name to be Yahawashi, which means He is the deliverer. He is the Savior for the Hebrew Israelites from the pedigree of your father. By Hashem, in the name of the Ruach HaKodesh, which means the Holy Spirit, that's able to give us the knowledge, wisdom, understanding of who we are, which are the true Hebrew Israelites. If you're so-called Negro, so-called Latino, so-called Native American, or of the speckled bird, looking like the other nations, and your spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Bashem Shai, then you could be one elect. Shalom. We've been discontinued from our heritage because we went off on after false gods and false idols, not following the law, statutes, and commandments that was given to us by our forefathers. And because of those offenses, we were sent into captivity under our oppressors. But through Yahawashi HaMashiach, being that perfect lamb, being that perfect sacrifice to Yahweh, He was able to open the seals of the book and to be able to give the understanding to the disciples, that breath of life, to be able to wake up the dead. Okay, because we were spiritually dead from the neck up. We needed a physician to be able to heal us. Okay, which is Yahawashi, through his perfect sacrifice. Okay, through that He's been given all power, right? King of Kings, Lord of Hosts, because of His sacrifice to Yahweh, and He's on the right hand. Okay, He's been given all wisdom, and with that wisdom, He has given it to the prophets to be able to know who the wicked is, which is Esau, Edom. Okay, Esau means wasted away he is, and they are what? The biblical Edomites, which is the so-called white man of today. Right, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Warburgs, the banksters, the elites, okay, the ones that control the world, that have the fatness of the earth and control it with the great sword. These are the ones that are waging war on the people through their pestilence, through them going to these different wars, going to these different countries, and using usury, using these economic hitmen to be able to take out the people, bringing forth their democracy, which is nothing but creates a tyranny, creates a cruel dictatorship, okay? And everything that they do is a get down or lay down mentality. If you don't comply with their mandates or their legislation, okay, they will take you out, as it was speaking about the economic hitman, okay? And that goes for around here too. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to take away the internet, the TikTok, the Instagram, ultimately trying to take away the prophets off the internet by calling it misinformation, disinformation. And that's what another form of Esau Edom's sword, which is what his lies, his deception, but that veil is being lifted up. Okay, and this is going to be about the evidence of, on this devil, okay? Because you had a guy come out, the economic hitman, that book, right? And then also you had one of the veterans that was over there in the Gulf War that was exposing, what they actually do in these different countries and how it's actually controlled, okay? And that's what we're supposed to be doing, is putting an inquisition on Esau Edom, making him feel uncomfortable by these words. When these words come out, they're fire, they're like a sword that cut asunder, like a two-edged sword, because these words are coming from Yahawashi HaMashiach, because that's how He speaks, through His prophets. And the man of sin, the son of perdition, is being revealed. Okay, he can't hide no more behind being American, being German, okay, being 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 us. Okay, they can't hide behind being Italian. Okay, they are what they are, which is what? A vagabond fugitive. Vagabond means going to and fro because they have no place of repentance. They've been rejected. Okay, to and fro on the earth like a fugitive would do, running from judgment, from the killing, going all the way back to Cain killing his brother Abel. Okay, and we know that who Esau Edom is, which is actually the red man. Okay, because white and black is nothing. There's no such thing as a person being white or black. That's a false social construct that this devil has put in place. Because white means pure and black means void of light, and that's why they call our people black. Because that means what? A black death, black magic. It has a negative connotation. Okay, we are what? Different shades of brown. We know that we've been spread across different nations. That goes into the curses, Deuteronomy 28:64. Also, Hosea 8:8. That will be spread across these heathen nations. That's why this is a spiritual kingdom that's being built up and exposing this devil around the four corners of the earth, speaking different languages, but all coming on the same accord, same doctrine, and calling on the same name, which is in the ancient Hebrew, Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay? And we are the true Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, again, of the speckled bird. Okay, this thing is spiritual, and that's why Esau Edom can't put his hand on it. He can try to demonize us, be a accuser of thy brethren, try to put us in categories, but he can't. Okay, why? Because Yahweh Shema Shai is with his elect, right? And this word is not going to be stopped because this is what? Judgment. Okay, this story was written from the beginning. Okay, and spoiler alert, the righteous win. Yahweh Shai wins. Okay, but the destruction has to come first. Prophecy has to come first. Exposing this devil, putting in the work has to come first, right? Wisdom of Solomon 1:8. Therefore he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid, neither shall vengeance when he is punished pass by him. So again, the Lord is not going to all acquit the wicked. Okay, they're not getting away from their judgment. They think that they got away and everything is all good, and that's ultimately because Yahweh Shema Shai has put that pride demon on them. So they think that they can be able to accomplish it. Ultimately, to bring forth what? Prophecy, because a man's goings are of the Lord, how can he know his ways? And the Lord is what's stirring up these kings and princes of the world, Proverbs 21:1, stirring them up to ultimately destroy their own selves. Okay, and that shows you the wisdom that Yahweh Shema Shai has and the power that he has. And he controls what? Left and right. He controls the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. Okay, as we're going to expose through this epistle, Lord willing, right? And then you have the righteous, which is the tabernacle of David, okay, which is being risen up, and they're standing in that exceedingly great army. And these devils are what? Afraid, right? So they have to come out like they have to throw the kitchen sink out. They have to they have to go all out, which just means that they're going to be draconian. So we have to go all out and trusting in Yahweh Shema Shai and being what? Fervent in the spirit and having that fear that is a treasure from Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay? And what? They speak unrighteous things. They speak how their pseudoscience, their left-handed miracles, how they can be able to, you can be able to talk to your ancestors that are already in the spirit world, okay, which goes into summoning, there we go, summoning what? These demons, okay, on the left-hand side, coming with their device, which is ultimately, they want to come with what? The charagma, which is a graven image in your forehead or in your hand. They want to put a device under your skin so they can be able to control you through their central banking digital currency, through what? Their governing of what? The blockchain, knocking out the paper dollar, bringing in the cashless society, a digital society, where they can be able to turn, if you don't comply to their mandates, they just turn you off and you won't be able to eat, drink, or have shelter, right? But the men of the Lord, Romans 11:4, there's 7,000 men that are not going to bow down to the image of Baal, because it's nothing but, and Baal goes back to the Shaitan, okay? And it goes back to what? The 144,000 that are not going to bow down, okay? And with that, comes what? Again, exposing who he is, making your call and election sure, because he's coming with his devices, okay? It's already here. They want that one world religion, okay, which the one world religion goes into worshiping the beast system. You calling on them and them taking away the Bibles, taking away the right to have free speech, taking away anything that has to do with our Lord. And if you take that device, they're taking away your soul, because they took everything else, your woman, your housing, they took everything, and now they want your soul, which is your VMAT2, your God gene. Okay. It says, Wisdom of Solomon 1:9, for inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly, and the sound of his words shall come unto Yahushai for the manifestation of his wicked deeds. So once his deeds are done, okay, and we're getting close to that, once his deeds are fulfilled, okay, Yahweh Shemashai that means that the elect's gonna be sealed, right? And that's when all mass destruction is gonna happen. Okay, north, south, east, and west, those angels are gonna be let out. Okay, and the ungodly is what? Esau, Edom. And our Lord's not at all going to acquit the wicked. Okay, he's on trial right now. That Inquisition, Slakia, that Inquisition goes into a heavy testimony, us testifying against this devil. Okay, and this is those two videos, or those three videos that I just showed is Exhibit A, B, and C. Okay, of this devil, how he goes around the world and taking peace from the earth. Right? Revelation 6:4, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat therein to take peace from the earth, and that should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Okay, so that red symbolizes Edom, which goes back to Adawan in the Hebrew, which means red. Okay, going back to what Esau, Edom came out red all over, as far as his pigmentation, his being translucent, having the blood showing on the outside of his skin. Okay, and that goes back to Cain killing his brother Abel, and he was cursed with that mark on him. Okay, that mark of evidence of who this devil actually is, right? And power was given unto him. Yeah, he was given all power. Not all power, but he was given power to take peace from the earth. He was given that great sword, right? And that's what he has done. Okay, as you've seen in the video, they went to all these different countries. Let me just get that. Where was that? Because this was actually something that came out of their own mouth. Let's see, Slovakia. Slovakia, bear with me. Yeah, here we go. So this was Wesley Clark, he was a general, a high standing ranked member in the military. It says, we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years: Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. Okay, and this was all pre-planned from what they did as far as with the towers over there in New York. Okay, and that's exactly what they did. Now, they didn't get all the countries, okay, because they had Russia's over there, okay, and Russia's over there, they're fighting each other for that oil, okay, they're fighting for that oil over there. And this is Psalm 64:8, that their tongue shall fall upon their own self. He's exposing them. Look up that video if as far as him talking about it. But I just want to bring out the gallery. So those are the different countries that they've been in. Okay, that's why we've been over there in the Middle East. And what are they taking over there in the Middle East? They're taking the opioids, okay, the poppy fields, which is ultimately goes into their pharmakias, their sorcery, okay, that they put on all the people, the fentanyl, okay, that you see masses of people dying from, okay, and that's all starts from there. That goes back all the way back to the heroin that they used to bring in the 60s and 70s and the Vietnam War. Okay, whenever they go to these places, it's ultimately to take whatever resources that they have to be able to inflict death on people, okay, because they're known as death. So again, that great sword, let me get another scripture. Yeah, let me Genesis 27:39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him. So this was, Esau was crying out because he had been supplanted by our forefather Jacob. Okay, which is ultimately it was meant to be, because our Lord is what he loves drama. Okay, and this is the movie and how it's played out. Okay, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of the heaven from above. Okay, so this is how we know Isaac, which is Yahawashi, if you can receive it. This is how we know what Esau, who he is. Okay, this is one of his mannerisms, that he would have the fatness of the earth, and this is what fatness means, right?
Strong's H 4924. Mishman.
Mishman. Okay.
Second entry. Shemanim.
So Mashaman, right, in the Hebrew. Okay, fatness, fat. Okay, fat piece, fertile place, richly prepared food. Okay, oil, right? Stout, vigorous, fertile spots. So who has the most fertile spots? Okay, who has the best places? Why do they put up a white picket fence around these certain areas? Who lives in those certain areas? Okay, these Edomites. Okay, now you might have Jake sprinkled in, but they're probably about maybe one in a million. Okay, they're over there, and usually they'll use those as basically token niggas. That's all they'll be, and I'm gonna bring that out through the scriptures in Sirach 13, what a rich man, does, or how he uses our people. Okay, so again, the oil, who controls all the oil? These elites. Okay, these banksters, right? And then you have what? Russia. Russia has all the oil too, and they're both of the same flock. They're both Edomites. Okay, they're both of the same eagle. And what? They're stout. They're stout through what? They're hammer. The hammer of the earth. Because again, they have all the resources, right? They have all the best places that they live. Their kids go to the best school. Okay, they eat the best foods. They're not eating at McDonald's. Okay, they're not eating at the local bodega or the local 7-Eleven. They're not eating at these places. They have the best resources that are in the earth. Okay, now they don't have this wisdom, because that's all opponent. But far as they've been given to be able to, they've been given their portion. They've been given what? Their rulership. Okay, this is their queendom, but it's only for what? A little season. Okay, let's see if we have any more. Yeah, a rich dish. Yeah, so who's the rich? Okay, when you look out in the world, who's the richest people in the world? Okay, it's not Jake. Put it that way. And Jay-Z and Puff Daddy, they're not rich. Okay, they're not rich at all. Right? A fertile field, because these guys have trillions of dollars. They're sitting on oil money. They're sitting on money from the 1300s. Okay, these Warburgs, these DuPonts, these Rothschilds, they're sitting on oil money. They control both sides of the war. Okay, because again, they've been given the fatness of the earth. And how do they control the fatness of the earth? Right here. Genesis 27:40. And by the sword thou shalt live, and thou shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou have dominion, that you shall break his yoke off thy neck. So again, that they served King David, okay, our king, right? And what happened? They were loosened for a little season. Okay, then they were put down for a 1,000-year period. And then what? They came back to power in the mid 1300s with the Renaissance era, which was the rebirth of Rome. This is nothing but Babylon the Great, which is America, is nothing but an extension of Rome. Okay, spiritually Egypt and Sodom, nothing but abominations, the mother of all harlots. Okay, and now what? They have dominion, right? They have rulership, and what are they doing? They're taking peace from the earth. They're fulfilling Yahweh Shemar Ashai's, Yahweh's book. Okay, these words. It's fulfilling all these words that the prophets have spoke through what? Divine inspiration, that they would do these certain things, they would act a certain way. Okay, and it's of the men of the Lord to what? Bring forth, exposing them, that great inquisition. Genesis 27. So now we know who has that sword, which is Esau Edom, which is the white man of today. Okay, we know how he looks. He's a red man. Okay, let me get that just to. This is Genesis 25 and 25. right? Genesis 25 and 25. And first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and like called his name Esau. So again, he came out red like what? The garments back then were red. Okay? And that's how he looked. Okay? And this is another sign, who Esau Edom is, or why they call him Edom, right? It says, yeah, right here. So Genesis 25 and 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with thy same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. So again, he didn't have patience. He didn't have time, because why? He was a man of the field. Let me get that. I think that's in the same chapter. Yeah, right here. So this is Genesis 25 and 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter. Okay, and who is he hunting down? Slakia. He's hunting down. He's hunting down Jake. Okay, he's hunting down Jake in these ghettos, vadios, and these reservations. You know, when we were over there in West Africa, he brought us over here. Okay, and hunted us down. Used it. Even had insurance on our people. Brought them and took us to a foreign land, speaking a foreign language, as it speaks about in the curses, right? And he was a cunning hunter. And right now he's hunting for Jake, far as through his devices. Through you can be rich here. Just join our boule. Okay. He was a cunning hunter. And again, he's hunting Jake, right? And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Okay. So which means when you go into the word plain, it goes into Jacob had everything. Okay. He didn't want for anything. That's why you see Jake, they just, they want to chill out, have a barbecue and relax. Esau Edom wants to go out and hunt, kill, climb rocks, right? There was one more thing I think. Let's see. Yeah, so, the point of that, a cunning hunter. So what does a cunning hunter do? He's in the field. He's a beast in the field. Okay? And again, Esau, or Slakia, and Jacob is a plain man, means he has everything. He has the understanding of patience, of long suffering. Okay? And Esau doesn't. Going back to that pottage. Okay? Let me get that real quick. That's the same. I was just right there. Yeah, so this is Genesis 25 and 34. And Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. And that's the same thing today. He still despises that birthright. So what does he want to do? He wants to kill. That's his number one number one enemy, which is us. Okay, just like our number one enemy is Esau Edom. Okay, you have good set against evil, and they're both obedient to Yahweh Shem Rashai. So I want to get this word Edom. Yeah, come on.
Strong's H123. Edom.
So out of one, right? It says red. Okay, Idumean, which is the Greek way of saying Edom. Okay, which is what the Greeks, right? And that's when the wickedness started when Alexander the Great died, and you had all the kings put crowns upon their head, and they started to manipulate the earth. Okay, taking peace from the earth. Okay, the land of Edom, Idumea, the land south of Palestine. Okay, and that's how you know. That's how you know who's controlling this world, because he has the fatness of the earth, which is all the best places. Right? And he controls it with a great sword. That's why you see all this wickedness on this earth. Right? So let me read this again. Genesis 27 and 40. And by thy sword thou shalt live, and thou shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou have dominion, thou shalt break thy yoke off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then I will slay my brother Jacob. So again, ever since then, he's wanted to slay his brother Jacob. Okay? Which Jacob is the righteous, right? And Esau is the wicked. You have the protagonist, which is the good guy, the antagonist, which is the bad guy. In the movie, in the potter, which is Yahweh, has written a story from the beginning. 42, and these words of Esau, our elder son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, Behold, thy brother Esau is touching thee, do comfort himself, proposing to kill thee. So again, Rebekah is a symbolization of what? Wisdom. Okay, when you go into wisdom, it always says like her. Okay, and wisdom told what? Jacob, that your brother wants to kill you, which is the same thing wisdom is telling us now. Okay, that he wants to kill us with these devices, with the barium aluminum, with his food, okay, with his philosophies. Okay, so now we know who that is as far as Esau Edom, which is a true red man. So let's go to First Maccabees. First Maccabees 1 and 11. Yeah, right here. It says First Maccabees 1 and 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. So that's Alexander the Crete, okay, the leopard, right? This is all secular history. This is why they want to take out the Apocrypha, because it exposes who Esau Edom is, okay? And his servants bear rule, everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after many years, and evils were multiplied on the earth. Evils were multiplied on the earth, okay? Let's get that. That's Proverbs. And that's what you see today. That's why you see a bunch of wickedness. That's why you see, all these different abominations, man on man, woman on woman, pedophilia, bestiality, right? Because there's wickedness upon the earth. And that was all the way back then. And now it's what reached the heavens. Proverbs 29 and 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So the righteous are not in authority, okay? Because again, we've been put at a low estate because we were falling after these false gods of these heathens. But the Lord is what? Drawing back his elect, the tabernacle of David, to be able to, give the understanding to bid the elect to the marriage. And the Lord's going to draw them out and put that understanding in them of who they are, restoring up that pure mind. It says the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Yeah, you're seeing an all-time high of people killing themselves, killing their whole families. People are going down to the Egyptian for help, and they're seeing that they're starting to get they're starting to do the Harlem Shake and the Justin Bieber. Okay, they're seeing that their government is not for them. They're gating up the walls over here in over here in Mexico and California, gating up that wall so they can be able to siege you. Cutting down these food supplies, these food operational centers, burning them all down, paying the farmers to not grow crops. Okay. Weaponizing the food, destroying the water with fluoride and mercury, creating these droughts, creating these floods. Okay, and with these droughts, they're using HARP technology. They're using their 5G and 6G technology to be able to take away the water. Then they pump the water, far as in these different places, to flood out the people, bringing these people to these cooling centers, these heating centers, which are nothing but internment camps, FEMA camps, where they can be able to bring forth their sorcery. Okay. And they're doing this on a everywhere. They're doing this on a mass scale. It's just that it's controlled. The media is controlled by Operation Mockingbird, right? Which is where they pay for what the government or Saki. They pay for what the media, which media means median, which goes back to witchcraft, which is nothing but witchcraft because they put enchantments on the people. But we know there's no enchantment on Jake. And what's happening is they're losing. Esau Edom, the white man, is losing the information battle, okay? Far as the truth coming out on these alternative networks like YouTube, Instagram, BitChute, Odyssey, they're being exposed for the wickedness, starting with the head apostles at Great Millstone and the men on down that are preaching with the testimony of Yahweh Shai. And the Lord's, and Yahweh Shai is putting that spirit on these different nations, these alternative networks, also to be able to expose them. Right, as you saw, and with the guy with the book, and also one of the veterans. Now he looks to be Esau, but the thing is that he's exposing him, right? Proverbs 29 and 16. Proverbs 29:16, when the wicked are multiplied, the transgression increase, but the righteous shall see their fall. So the righteous are going to be what? The tabernacle of David is a righteous thing to what? To see the fall of your enemy. And again, that was the same thing that was reiterated in the first Maccabees 1. Okay, that the wicked was what? Multiplied on the earth, which you see right now. Esau, Edom is in everybody's business, right? Enlarging his place as what? Hell. And the Lord hates Esau. Okay, so anybody that's out there saying, just give Esau a break. No, the Lord said not to do that. Right? He said, occupy till I come. Okay, so if Yahawashi was here today, he would be prophesying against Esau, Edom. Right? And if we're if we're prototypes of Yahawashi, we're praying that we're of the hopeful elect. Why wouldn't we be doing the same thing? Right? Let's see. I don't know why I can't. Yeah, right there. This is Malachi 1:4. Let me start from here. It says 3. I hated Esau. So hate is a very strong word when you say someone that you hate. Okay, you usually don't hear people say they hate somebody. They might, they might say something about their character or something, but hate is a very strong word, and that's how our Lord, that's how Yahweh Shemashai thinks about Esau, Edom. I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Okay. 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, thou shalt build, but I will throw down, and you shall call them the border of wickedness and the people against whom Yahweh had indignation forever. Okay, indignation goes into righteous anger forever. It speaks that in the law, the second law, Deuteronomy 25. At the end, it speaks about how generation, from generation to generation, we'll have war with Amalek. Okay, and Amalek goes into what? The blood drinkers, which is the head tribe of Esau, Edom. Okay, and they are blood drinkers, and because they love blood, blood is going to pursue them. Okay, they will return. Okay, the Renaissance era, which is about the mid 1300s, they came with what? The rebirth of Rome 2.0. Okay, and they started what? Covering the faces of the judges thereof, iconoclasm, taking out the dark images, the brown images, and putting forth their pale face, butt naked baby pedophilia images. Okay, when it's evident that our Lord came out the tribe of Judah, which would be a so-called black man. Okay, but they painted as a pale face, white, homosexual, long, stringy haired man. Okay, when that's not how our Lord looks, and the Lord's coming back for vengeance about that, right? And that goes back to what? Serapis Christi. Okay, that goes back to what? Caesar Borgia. And then now what you have is what? Jesus Christ, which is nothing but a deity, a demon. Okay, that Esau Edom has put that image up because he couldn't have the image of the disciples, of Yahawashi being a so-called black man, because that wouldn't make him pure. That would make him what? The wicked, right? And they are known as what? The border of what? Wickedness. Okay, and the Lord hates them, right? And they build up this place, the clefts of the rocks. Okay, that's why you have what? These different skyscrapers starting, in Babylon the Great. You have what? I think the first one was in Chicago. Okay, then you have what? You have New York and these different cities, and even China and India. They have all these, these skyscrapers showing you that Mount Seir, that they're in everybody's business. Okay, let's get that. Habakkuk 2:5, as the guy was saying, that they're in everybody's business. Let's get this. Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Okay, his soul is not upright in him because all he wants to do is kill, rob, and steal, as it speaks about in John 10:10. Let me get this real quick, actually. And these are the mannerisms of Esau, Edom, and he's not gonna change because he was created to what? Dishonor. Let me get that scripture actually first. Where's that? Romans. I'm going to skip it around a little bit. Romans 9:13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved. Who's Jacob? That's Jacob is what? The tabernacle of David. Jacob had 12 sons, okay? And they are, the 12 tribes of Israel, Okay, his name was changed to what? Israel, right? Yasha Allah, which means he is Prince of Power, right? And that's who Yahweh Shema Shai loves, right? It says, but Esau have hated. So Esau hates the red man. Okay, he hates what the so-called white man of today, right? That's reiterated 2 times and even more times in the scriptures. It says, real quick. So I'll just get to the point. Romans 9:21, have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one the vessel to honor? Okay, because we're Jacob and Esau in the same womb of Rebekah. Okay, one and one was but two different types of nations. Okay, 2 types of nations, one to honor and one to dishonor. Had not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? What if Yahweh, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction? So Esau, Edom is what? A vessel of wrath fitted for destruction. He is what? A ticking time bomb. Okay? And now he's what? Trapped in a corner, and he knows that he has but a short time. So what does he want to do? Implement his devices, be more draconian, start to have what is martial law, take away the legislation, rewrite laws, okay, rewrite how they can be able to impose their carnality, their sword on on all the people, but starting at the men of the Lord, okay, because that's going back to their perpetual hatred that they have. So this is and what do? They, with that dishonor and taking what peace from the earth, let's see. John 10:10. This is a thief, okay, and hasn't this devil stolen everything that he's had, stolen everything that he's got? Isn't he a thief? Okay, the true niggard, okay. John, the true scoundrel, that vile person. John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that I might have life and that might have it more abundantly. So that's Yahweh Shai. He's come to be able to give salvation to Israel, but starting with his elect, that remnant, that cluster seed. Okay, and all Esau Edom has came to do, showing you good versus evil, okay, is to steal, to kill, and to destroy, to deceive. Those are the 2 mannerisms of Esau Edom, either to deceive or to kill you. Okay, and they both lead to death, right? But who's known as victory? Yahweh Shai. This is John 8:44. Just some more descriptions of Esau Edom, because they have like you have a character witness, or you have his character when you're in court. You have you say what's their character. Do they go to church? Do they work? Are they a family man? And this is what this is what Esau Edom does right here. John 8:44. He's a thief, a killer, a murderer. He's a gangster, the killer, and a drug dealer. Okay. John 8:44. You are the father. You are your father, the devil. And what is the devil? Adverse to anything righteousness, the deceiver. Okay. It says, and lust of the father, you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. And this is going back to Cain, because Cain, murdered his brother Abel. He was a murderer from the beginning. In Genesis is in the beginning, right? And abode not in the truth. Yeah, so he wasn't in the truth because Yahweh has turned his face away from Cain, right? He can't have the understanding of the scriptures because he was created to dishonor. That's in Genesis 4:14. Not in truth, because there is no truth in him. Okay, there's no understanding. There is no light in him, right? When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Yeah, he's the father of what? Deception. Okay, that's why you can't trust in anything that he's talking about, because he's always lying. This is the description. This is Yahweh Shai letting you know, right? And why can't he have the understanding? Right here, it says right here, because his face is not upon him. Genesis 4:14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. Okay, going into him being a vagabond, right? And from the face and from thy face shall I be hid. So again, from thy face, So Yahweh Hashem Yahshai is shining on his elect, shining what the understanding of the scriptures. Because Yahweh only dwells with those that have wisdom. Okay, those that don't have malice. Okay, those that are actually coming with that contrite spirit. And from the face shall be hid. So again, Yahweh's face is hid from him. He can't have the understanding. So when people say, well, there's some good white people, no, there's not. Okay, no, there's not one good. Romans 3 speaks about that. Okay, there's not one that's good. That's why the Lord has to exterminate them from the foundation of the earth. They have to be destroyed after 1,000 years. First, they have to pay for all their abominations and their sins, judgment, right? Which is 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. Right, 1,000 years of hardcore slavery for the things they have done to our people. Okay, then they will be exterminated. It says, and shall be a fugitive and a vagabond on the earth. And what does a fugitive do? He steals everyone's identity. He's even stolen our identity, saying that they are the true people. That's why they're over there in the motherland. Okay, in the motherland, which is Jerusalem. Right, a vagabond, again, that means to and fro. Fugitive, running from killing his brother Cain, as we read in John 8:44. And the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. So again, ultimately, this is coming to right now. Because again, back then, they only had different shades of brown. Okay, they didn't have no red man, so that curse was evidence of who this devil was. And that's why Cain was saying that, I can't bear this. You know what I mean? Because he's a punk, right? We had to drink of the cup. So do you, Esau. Okay, but yours is going to be a double cup. Okay, and now these different countries want to slay you. Okay, they don't have no remorse for you because they know that you have shown no remorse, and they are starting to be confederate against you because you've taken all their land. Let's get that. Habakkuk 2:4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Okay, that's speaking about Esau, Edom. And when we read the reasons why. Okay, but the just shall live by faith. That's the elect. They're going to live by faith. If you have faith as a mustard seed, you shall be able to move mountains. Okay, and that's what this word is doing. It's moving mountains. Let me get that real quick. Because this is a faith-based thing. Okay, that's why Esau Edom can't touch it, and he don't understand. They tried to hide the Bible. Okay, they tried to hide they came with the slave Bible. They came with the harlot churches. They gave the 501c3. They paid off all these TD Snakes. Jesse Jackass, Al Sharptongue. They paid off all these different. Jakes to be able to come with that feel-good doctrine. But it didn't work, okay? Yep. It says Matthew 17:20, and Yahushua said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, and that's all we have is faith, okay? Hope is the things of the substance not seen. Faith of the things... I'll just get it right after. Matthew 17. Let me actually get that first. Usually I have that on point, but, I've been off a little bit as far as quoting it, but that's all good. This is Hebrews. And we'll read actually all the way down to 6. Because this is a faith-based thing. And what are they trying to attack? They're trying to attack what faith-based groups. And that's what we are. We're based on faith. Okay? Romans 8:16. If your spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Shema Shai. You have to test the spirits. Okay? It's not about a black, a Latino, an Indian thing. No, it's not about that. It's about the spirit. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of the things hoped for. Okay? And we hope that we're part of the elect. We know that Esau Edom is going to be taken down, but we're praying we're of what? The hopeful elect. It says the evidence of the things not seen. The evidence of the things not seen. So we don't necessarily see Yahweh Shema Shai physically in the physical form, but we see him through men. through what that light shining on them. You know, when people just come, they start coming into the truth. They start to rehearse the righteous acts to the best of ability. They start to not eat these abominable foods. They start to grow out their beards. They start to study that show thyself improve. They start to get more and more into the scriptures, and that's the Lord shining on them, and that's the hope that we have, right? Hebrews 11:2, for by our elders obtained a good report. So our elders, you have Isaiah, okay, you have Jeremiah, Habakkuk, Haggai, okay, which are all renowned men, are all great men, because they had the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, they had the understanding to be able to see, to be able to prophesy, to be able to ultimately bring the kingdom at hand. And they are back here today. If they're not back here today, they did come back. Okay, started with Abba Bivens and the true men of the Lord in the One West camps, and then with the head apostles at Great Millstone and the men on down. Okay, all back in their lot. It speaks about that in Daniel 12:13. At the end of days, you shall turn back to your lot, which Daniel was a prophet. Okay. And those are the elders. They retained a good report with Yahweh Hashem Shai. Okay? Because ultimately they were chosen from the foundation of the earth. Okay? Before the womb. Right? To be able to be a prophet. Just like Esau was created to be the devil. Okay? It was already formed. Yahweh is the potter. And he already worked on your mind to what you were going to do. He already sealed the instruction. Right? 3, through faith we understand that the words, through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Yahweh, so the things which are seen were not made of the things which do appear. Okay, showing you that our Lord is He's from above and we are from below. And when you look and when you think about when it says that was framed from the word of Yahweh, so the things which are seen are not made of things which do appear, because it was formed from above. Yahweh gave the decree to Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai gave the decree to the Alahayim, which means powers. Okay, which would be the first fruits, would be the angels. Okay, to be able to bring forth the energy, which is the same thing you see now. You have the celestial angels that are in the spirit world. Okay, and you have the angels that are the prophets that are in celestial bodies. Okay, and they all have the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai. Okay, which is all drawn out by Yahweh, right? And then he gave all power to his son Yahweh Shai. It says, 4, by faith Abel offered unto Yahweh a more excellent sacrifice than Cain. So going to Abel being the elect, which was formed through Seth, okay, after he passed, right? Or he went to the spirit world, and Cain is the wicked, and by which he obtained witness that he was righteous. Okay, so that goes into I think that's 1 John 3:20. Where Cain is the wicked. Let me just get that scripture real quick. Yeah, 1 John 3:12. Not as Cain, who was the wicked one and slew his brother, and wherefore slew he him, because his own works were evil and his brothers were righteous. So that's the reason why. It's the same thing he wants to do right now. That's why he wants to slay the prophets. Okay, because because I tell you the truth, you hate me. Okay, and that's the number one thing. Okay, this truth, this light is a detriment, is a cancer to Esau Edom. Okay, because he knows that his kingdom is being put down through righteousness. It says Yahweh, Hebrews 11:4 at the bottom. It says Yahweh testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Yahweh has translated him. So he lifted him up in a chariot. Okay, for before his translation he had the testimony that he pleased Yahweh. The testimony, which is the understanding of the scriptures. Okay, his face, Yahweh's face was upon Enoch, so he was translated, and we're praying that we're able to translate, to be lifted up in those chariots. How is it? By faith. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of him that diligently seek him. So again, this is faith-based, and that's what they're coming after. Those that are those faith-based groups. okay, which is what the Department of Homeland Security put out that bulletin. And that shows you what their policy, their wicked policy. So if we have what? Faith, Matthew 17:20, and Yahushua said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, so the unbelief that goes into 2/3, they have an unbelief. Verily I say unto you, so truly I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, which mountain or hill symbolizes government, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Nothing shall be impossible unto you. Okay, because again, if as long as you have what? Faith in Yahweh Shem Rashai, there's another scripture that reminds me of, that's John 15:1. Because who is that vine that's giving us the understanding? It says John 15:1. I am the true vine. Who's that? That's Yahweh Shai in red letter, right? He is the vine. And my Father, which is Yahweh, is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth, and that may bring forth more fruit. So again, going out there and preaching on the highways and the byways, bringing forth what the fruits, using the money that Yahweh Shem Shai gave you, okay, putting in the work. It says 3, now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. So clean what? Through this word. That's how you're able to what? Get baptized. Okay, what? Ephesians 5:26. Okay, the word is what? A cleansing agent, and it cleanses of what? Our sins. And that's when the Lord starts to look at us, he used to look at us with a winking eye. Okay, but now you have put what? Now he has woken it up, so you're supposed to what? Come back to the Lord. That's why it speaks about in 1 Peter 4:17, I will start at the house of Israel, because those that know they're of Israel, they know what they're supposed to do. But again, not everybody's of the elect. Okay. It says, 4, abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine. No man, so you can't come with your, I'm not going to go through your Harashai. I want to come with my own group. And that's what you see right now. You have the IUIC, coming with their Christ, calling on Christ, that's nothing but abomination. That's not the Hebrew, right? You're calling on the same name as these evil, wicked churches. Okay, you have IUSUPK, you have Sakari. All these different groups are doing what? They're trying to bear their own fruits, coming with their own doctrine, right? But following some of the doctrine, but then not doing the whole thing. That's how you know the separation between the tabernacle of David and ultimately the 2/3. It says, 4, abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine. No man can ye except abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abideth in me, I in him, and the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me you can do nothing. So again, you can't do nothing without Yahweh Shai, because he is what? The vine, right? And Yahweh has given him all power. So that shows you the downfall of Esau Edom, because he doesn't have the understanding, okay? So only with Yahweh Shema Shai you can be able to do all things. I think that's. I'll get it right here. That's all right. So we'll go back to this. I'll just quote it. If you have, you can be able to do all things through Hamashiach, roughly paraphrasing, right? That's in Galatians. So Habakkuk 2:5. Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, his false philosophies, his Roman Catholicism, his Christianity, okay, his pseudoscience, okay, he is a proud man. That's how you know Esau Edom is. Okay, he is a very proud man. He boasts himself that he's the Most High, that he has all his sciences on point. He's a good guy, coming with a bald face, okay, coming with his iconoclasm, coming with his suits. Okay, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Yeah, so he's in, again, those 3 videos expose them being in these other places. with these economic hitmen, then coming in with their military, coming in with that great sword, that hammer of the earth. It says, enlarge his desire as hell. So hell is a condition played out on earth. And that's Esau, Edom, bringing forth what? To dishonor, bringing hell on the people. It says, and as death. Yeah, so he's known as death. It speaks about that in Revelation 6. It says, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heap unto him all people. And that's what he's done through what? This beast system. Okay, you have what? The whore, the mother of all harlots, which is Babylon the Great, which is the cash cow of these elites. And they have joined these other nations to what? Conspire together to hide thy hidden ones. Okay, you have, again, the mother of all harlots, Babylon the Great. Then you have what? The NATO and the EU, which now it started with 10, now it consists of 30. Okay, and they all are on the same accord to what? Bringing their new world order, the Novus Ordo Seclorum. Okay, that's what it speaks about, the heapeth unto them all people, to bring in their Novus, their new world order. Okay, through what? Their false philosophies, and having everybody what? Linked into what? Their smart cities, through that device that they want to put under your skin, under your hand, or under your forehead. It speaks about in Revelation 13 and 16. It says, 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto them that increase that which is not his? How long unto him that lather himself with thick clay? So again, so these other nations that have they've gathered, they're starting to come up against what? Babylon the Great. Starting with Turkey, which is Tubal in the scriptures. Ezekiel 38 speaks about that. Turkey, which was one of the first 10 that were part of NATO, they have made 2 contracts. They're in the second contract with Russia. Okay, and they're going to be allied. That's according to prophecy, that they will be allied with Russia. Russia will be a guard unto them. Okay, and now these other nations are making fun of Pedo Joe, making fun of Kamala Harris, making fun of these their leaders. Okay, and exposing that they don't have power anymore, because they don't have the hypersonic capabilities. They don't have that hammer anymore. Okay, and that thick clay, when you go into the definition of thick clay, it goes into heavy debt. They owe all these different nations money. They owe France money for the gold, because back then they had the what so-called Federal Reserve, which was nothing but a scam that these elites, okay, met over there in Jekyll Island off Georgia, and met over in Jekyll Island, which was formed in what 1910 they started it, but in 1913 was where they had the Federal Reserve, which is bringing forth the paper dollar, and saying that it was backed by gold, but they never had any gold to back by. Okay, and that's how they created a thing called usury, which is the APR that they were speaking about as far as this economic hitman, right? And the Lord speaks about that he doesn't doesn't want people to do usury. So, okay, let me get that back. So let's get that. That's showing you that these devils break the law in every single way. Now, they weren't given the law, okay, but they're going to be judged by the law. Because they act like they know. They do know, but again, they were created to dishonor. Exodus 22 and 25. I'm going to read this in the NLT. If you lend money to any of my people who are in need, do not charge interest as money lender would. Okay, so you're not supposed to do that, right? Far as lending money, and what usury is I'm just going to say it in a basic way. Someone you lend out $100 to somebody, and then you say, hey, well, you got to pay me back $150. That's usury. Okay, but what they do with these countries, they lend them billions of dollars, which they can never be able to pay. And if they don't comply to their mandates, they knock off the president. For instance, Tanzanian president. For instance, Zimbabwe president. For instance, the Japan president. For instance, the Haiti president. All these different presidents got knocked off because they didn't comply to what their mandates. They didn't comply to the rules that Esau Edom had set. So they sent in these economic hitmen. Okay. Let's get another scripture. This is in Deuteronomy. This is called the second law. Okay. Deuteronomy 23 and 19. Deuteronomy 23 and 19, it says, I want to read this in the NLT. It says, do not charge interest on the loans you make to a fellow Israelite, whether you loan money or food or anything else. So again, we're not supposed to charge what interest. Now that's speaking about an Israelite, but it's the same, because we know that Esau wasn't given what the law, statute, commandments, but they still use that as one of their swords, okay, to be able to wage war on the people, to be able to, be a thief, to be able to deceive people. This is another one. This is Ezekiel 18 and 12. This is Ezekiel 18 and 12. It says 12, hath oppressed the poor and needy, has spoiled by violence. And this is speaking about that, you're not going to pay for your father's sins. Okay, in this chapter, if you read this chapter, that you're not going to pay for your father's sins. You're going to pay for your own sins, the own sins that you have done. So when you have these Edomites, they like to say, or the so-called white men, they like to say, well, I didn't do that. That was my forefathers. No, you are your forefathers. Okay? Because again, that goes into what? Reincarnation. It says, hath oppressed the poor. Okay, who oppresses the poor? Esau, Edom. Hath oppressed the poor and needy, has spoiled by violence. Okay, and we read Revelation 6 and 4, Genesis 27, Malachi 1 and 11, First Maccabees 1 and 11, Malachi 1 and 4. Okay, we read what they take peace from the earth, but what? That sword, and they do it what? Through violence. Had not restored the pledge, and had lifted up their eyes to idols, and had committed abominations. Yeah, and so they're idols. You have what? JC, Jesus Christ. You have what? The worship of what? Tammuz. You have the worship of Semiramis. You have the worship of these pagan holidays, Easter. You have the worship of the obelisk, the worship of what? These pyramids. Okay. And they have what? Detestable sins. Yeah. And they have what? Reached up to the heavens. Okay. And now the Lord is not prolonging his word. He's bringing forth his judgment. 13. It says, hath given forth upon usury. Okay. And hath taken increase, and he shall then live. He shall not live. He had done all these abominations. He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. Okay. Yeah. And the blood is upon him because what? He won't let the Israelites go. Okay. His heart has been hardened. His mind has been hardened, just like it was Pharaoh. And Pharaoh, in that same chapter that I read in Romans 9, that Pharaoh is compared to what? Esau, because they won't let what the Israelites go. So it says 13, I want to read this in NLT, and lends money at excessive interest. It says, should such a sinful person live? No, he must die and must take full blame. So again, Esau, you're going to have to pay. And that is a righteous thing, right? Oh, yeah, so I want to go into this word usury just to, expand on it.
Strong's H 5392. Neshech.
Okay. So Nasheh, right? And that's in the Hebrew 5392. And it just says interest or usury. Okay, interest on debt. So again, they give these third world countries, they'll say they'll give them $1 million, and they'll say, well, you got to pay us back 10 million. Okay, and then if you don't comply, again, those economic hitmen, like the video showed. Okay, to pay, to give interest, to lend for interest. Yeah, and that's what they do. They're taking a chunk out of your society. Okay. Whatever that even these heathen customs, they're not able to do their certain worships, whatever, and I'm just saying, these heathen nations, right? They're not able to do, they have to follow what the Democrat and the Republican, they have to follow the democracy, and they have to bring that forth. Oppress with interest on a loan. Yeah, that's what they do. They oppress with interest on the loan. And then again, it showed that they would send these economic hitmen, and if that doesn't work, they send their military, right? Which is what? The hammer of the earth. Strike with the sting as a serpent. Right there. Perfect. Yep. And who's known as the serpent? Esau, Edom. Okay. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to bite you. And what does he have? Let me get that. Because when he speaks, it's Sirach 21 and 1. It says, 2. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. If thou comest too near it, it will bite thee, the teeth thereof as teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. All iniquity is a two-edged sword, the wounds whereof cannot be healed. So again, that's actually speaking about what the charagma, but that's what they want to give you. Okay, and this is implemented in a worldwide sense. All these different nations, whether old, whether rich, whether poor, whether it doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna have to bow down to that beast if you want to be able to be part of the society. Okay, if you're not with Yahweh Shai, right, the elect is gonna be able to have that hedge. Okay, they're not gonna the Lord's gonna intervene with the hour of temptation, Revelation 3 and 10. So going back to we'll go on this one. This is Habakkuk. Because these different nations are starting to they're starting to see that America is feeble. Habakkuk 2 and 7. Yeah. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly and shall bite thee? And awake shall vex. Didn't it say a bite with what the usury? It says, suddenly they shall not rise up, suddenly they shall bite thee, and awake they shall vex thee, and they shall be of the booties unto them. Read this in NLT. Suddenly your debtors will take action. They will turn on you. And so that's what China's doing. China has bought up a lot of Babylon the Great. Okay, and now they're starting to turn on you by allying with Russia through the BRICS nations. It says, and they will turn on you and take all you have while you stand trembling and helpless. Yet you're helpless. Why? Because you don't have your hammer. Okay, you don't have that military anymore. Right? Habakkuk 2 and 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all remnant of people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land and the city of all that dwell therein. Okay, it says, woe unto them that cover evil and covetous the house that may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Okay, and you're not going to be delivered from the power. You're not going to be able to be delivered. Okay, because Hebrews 12 and 16 and 17 speaks about you've been rejected. You've been rejected, fool. You've been rejected, man. You have no place of repentance, and you haven't paid for your crimes. Okay, it says Habakkuk 2 and 10. It says, thou hast consulted shame on the house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against the soul. It says, for the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. So those stones are the prophets, okay, that are crying out to Yahweh Shem Shai to seek vengeance on this place. It says 12, woe, which means destruction to him that build a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Okay, and that's what they done. They established Babylon the Great through their rape, rob, and murdering, through not paying anybody labor. Make America great again. That's why they want to be able to implement a device to be able to put, not that physical yoke, but that yoke goes into that device that they want to put inside of you. It's reminding me of a scripture. I think it's actually in 21. Yeah, 8. He that buildeth a house with other man's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. The congregation of the wicked is like a tow wrapped together, and the end of them is a flame of fire to destroy them. The ways of sinners is made plain with stones, but at the end thereof is a pit of hell. Okay? So that's going to be the condition that you're going to be in, is hell. Okay, you're gonna have to Esau, Edom. You're gonna have to pick up, which is the white man. You're gonna have to be in hardcore slavery for 1,000 years. Okay, and it's not gonna be it ain't gonna be no okay days. Okay, only the Sabbath, right? So I want to get this Habakkuk 2. Yeah, we'll get 14 because of this word being spread, Esau, Edom's being exposed. Habakkuk 2 and 14, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of glory of Yahweh as the waters cover the sea. Woe unto them that give his neighbor drink, that puttest thou bottle to him and makest him drunken. Also thou may look on his nakedness. Thou art filled with shame for the glory, and drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered, and the cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And that's what is happening. Shameful spewings on your glory. Your children don't even want to be a part of you. There's, they're crying out for what a evil, wicked king. Okay, and they're even they don't even want to be white no more. So going into, I'll end it right here. This is Psalms 109. Probably just read the whole thing. And this is about Yahweh Shem Rashai seeking vengeance on our adversaries, right? So Psalms 109 and 15, let them be before Yahweh, and continually they may be cut off the memory of them from the earth. Yeah, so they're going to be exterminated because they've touched what the apple of Yahweh Shem Rashai's eyes. Okay, they're not going to have no, what is it called? Mount Rushmore, where you have the forefathers. You're not going to have that, you're not going to have Theodore Roosevelt, sitting upon the horse, where you have the, Gad and Judah on both sides, on either side, on the side of the horse, which the horse symbolizes power. You're not going to have none of that. Okay, there's not going to be no Abraham Lincoln, you know what I mean? Statues. Okay, there's going to be no more in remembrance. Psalms 109 and 16, because he remembered not to show mercy, but persecuted the poor and needy man, that he might even slay the broken heart. Yeah, because the Lord is again, hates Esau, but also this right here. This is Zechariah 1 and 15. It says, I am very sore displeased with the heathen, that they are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Yep, so they kept with their antics, with their, their Willie Lynch letters. They kept with the tactics of Adam Vsop, by, taking away the Bible, bringing forth, as far as the hip hop industry, these different movies of depicting our people as, as them, basically as them, right? So Psalms 109 and 17, as he loved cursing, so let it come unto him. As he delighted not in blessing, so let it be far from him. Yeah, so cursing, going into his abominations, saying that there is no God. Okay, that's an abomination. It says 18, as he clothed himself with the cursing like as with his garment, so let him come into the bowels like water, and like oil into his bones. Yeah, so that goes into Psalm 73. He wears blood on his sleeve, blood on his garment. Okay. 19, let it be unto him as a garment which cover him. Okay, and we're praying that we have the garment of what? Righteousness. Okay, that white cloak, that white garment, to be able to be purified through this word, and be accounted worthy in the day of judgment. It says 19, let it be unto him as a garment which covereth him, and for the girdle wherewith he is girded continually. Let this be a reward of my adversaries from Yahweh, and of them that speak evil against my soul. And they speak evil of Yahweh Shem Rashai. They say that he doesn't exist, which that's his name, Yahweh. Okay, they say that his son didn't come. Okay, they say that his son is a white man. Okay, and that's a vexation of spirit right there. Right? That's a you know what I mean? So 21 you Roman centurion, and the Lord says he's going to come back. Revelation 1, he's going to come out that cloud to those that pierced him, which you're here today, right? Which are you Edomites, you so-called white man. It says 21. It says 21. But do thou for me, O Yahweh, my power, for my name's sake, because the mercy is good, deliver thou me. And that's what we're praying, that we're able to be delivered out of the said perils, of the destruction. For I am poor and needy, my heart is wounded within me. So again, going into your heart, your lahab. It says, I am gone like the shadow when it declineth. I am tossed up and down as a locust. Yeah, so we're constantly getting beating down with these foods, with the false philosophies, our women, our children, the jobs, infirmities, all these different things. We're that they said, it speaks about that in Daniel 12, that they shall wear out the saints. 23, I am gone like the shadow, and when it declineth, I am tossed up and down as a locust. My knees are weak through fasting, and my flesh falleth of fatness. I want to see who this Yeah, so this is King David, and King David, which these are Psalms from King David, and he's crying out to what Yahweh Shema Shai, to what seek vengeance on his enemies, okay, which is starting with Esau, Edom. It says 25, I have become also reproach unto them when they looked upon me, they shake their heads. Help me, O Yahweh, my power. O save me according to thy mercy, that they may know that this is the hand that Yahweh has done it. Yeah, so that hand is Yahweh Shai. John 12 and 28. The Lord Yahweh, are you going to glorify thy name again? And he said, yeah, I'm going to do it. So again, just like it was in Egypt, he's going to do it again, far as at an all-time high. Okay, a time of trouble like never before, and he's going to save his elect. 28. Let them curse, but bless thou when thou arise. Let them be ashamed, but let the servant rejoice. So again, we're supposed to be servants of Yahweh Shema Shai, engaging in the profession and the business of this word, which is the word of Yahweh Shema Shai, bringing, telling our people, going to the lost sheep of Israel, telling them that the kingdom is at hand. 29, let my adversaries be clothed with shame, and let them cover themselves with their own confusion as with a mantle. So again, they're going to be humiliated. They're being shamefaced right now, but they're going to be humiliated when everything's exposed, when everything's right on the table. Okay? And adversaries, that goes in adverse to what? Righteousness, the devil. Okay? Which is, that goes into Psalms 83, that hit list. Right? It says 30, I will greatly pray, and that's starting with Esau, Edom, the white man. 30, I will greatly praise Yahweh with my mouth, yet I will praise him among the multitude. For he shall stand at the right hand of the poor to save him from those that condemn his soul. Okay? And that's where he's at. He's at the right hand, waiting to bring forth what the judgment. Okay? That's why it speaks about, let me just get it, because it was on my spirit to bring it out earlier. He's not coming back as that in the flesh. He's coming back with that sword. Isaiah 47 and 1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit in the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Okay, and your daughter, what comes after you. Okay, and this is what Babylon the Great, spiritually Babylon the Great. Okay, and the Chaldeans are what the witchcraft and the sorceries, the monthly prognosticators, right? Okay, and delicate, why? Because this place hasn't been touched. Okay, it says 2, take the millstones, grind the mill, uncover the locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. So again, this key, which is the word, is what opening up those, opening up all the pedophilia, opening up Esau, Edom's lies and the deception, far as iconoclasm. Okay, and what now he's what this whore, okay, has got everything out, and they're seeing that all the diseases that she has, okay, all the monkey business that she has. Right? 3, the nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah, so again, the veil is being lifted. Okay. The nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah, the shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man. Okay. The Lord's not going to meet you as a man. Right? It says 9, but these 2 things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in the perfection for the multitude of sorceries and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. So again, if his children be multiplied, it's multiplied for what? The slaughter, right? For thou hast trusted in wickedness, and thou hast said, none seeth me, and wisdom and knowledge have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, and thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put off. Desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Okay, and that goes into what the hypersonic missiles, what destroying this place. They're going to be what laid desolate. Let me read this in the NLT. I'll end it right here. Isaiah 47 and 11. So disaster will overtake you, and you won't be able to charm it away. Calamity will fall upon you, and you won't be able to buy your way out. A catastrophic will strike you suddenly, one for which you are not prepared. Okay? You're not going to be prepared because it's going to be what? That fervent heat. And the Lord is what? Not slacked, what, concerning his promise? I think that's actually 2 Peter. Second Peter 3 and 9, the Lord Yahweh Shai is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to us, usward, not willing that it should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of Yahawashi will come as a thief in the night, and that's what those hypersonic missiles have. Okay, because they can't be tracked. They can't be tracked on what Babylon the Great's in technology. These hypersonic missiles are coming like a thief in the night. It says, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. Yeah, so a great destruction, a great desolation. Okay, it says that the earth shall rock to and fro as a drunkard that speaks about in Isaiah with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works therein shall be burned up. Okay, burned up. Why? Because of all the abominations, and it has reached what? The heavens. Okay, so with that, Kahala Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Kakodash. Shalom to the elect. Kwam Yashala.